Well, the Indianapolis Colts have gotten great news following a tremulous week in the practice squad. We're going to cover all that and more, and keys to the game ahead of a crucial matchup against the Chiefs. One team Patrick Mahomes has never beaten the regular season has been the Indianapolis Colts. So we're going to cover all that. Getting into this video, what's going on? It's Elijah from Sports Indy, where we cover all things Colts, whether it's behind the scenes or breaking news. So be sure to like and subscribe. Now, there's been throughout this week, there's been quite a bit of speculation, specifically um, on the front of Mooney Ward, right? You've been following along with that for any amount of time. You know that there was quite a bit of speculation as to whether Mooney would be ready to go. And he actually released in a press conference today quite a bit of information on to where he is, both with the game of football and just in general with what's going on with him. Basically, what he said was after his concussion and the pre game warmups with his collision with Drew Ogletree. He basically said that he was considering retirement away from football. He said it was a scary incident. It left him feeling dizzy. I personally have dealt with a number of concussions, in sports related, so I can attest to the fact that it is a scary situation when you're in it, and specifically when you're dealing with a concussion and severe ones. It brings dizziness and all of these things. And he talks about retirement. He talks about whether it be good for his family, good for him and his health, if he would just walk away from the game. And he said that as the dizziness left, he felt okay and felt good enough to come back to the game of football. And we're very thankful for that, especially as this now assembles the I-465, the nothing gets through defense of Mooney Ward, Sauce Gardner, and Kenny Moore. Even just saying it gets me excited. And this is exactly what the Colts have been looking for a long time, is some big name signings along with homegrown talent in Kenny Moore. And this is going to be, I'm very excited. I'm very excited for the next several years of these three guys on this team. Pair that with Cam Bynum and Nick Cross if he re-signs with the Colts. This could be electric. So we're excited to see that. Now, the good news is that Mooney Ward, as of right now, is still listed as questionable, but it was a full participant in all three practices this week, which means all signs point to him, if he is able to clear the concussion protocol, which he should, get being 4 weeks removed for the concussion. Actually, he's like 5 weeks concussion. All signs point him being good to go for Sunday. In what I mean, this is great news, and this is just part one of three. The second part is this, and that is Tyquan Lewis. Tyquan Lewis was also a full participant in almost every single practice week. He is questionable, but should be good to go. Part 3 of 4 is Samson Ebukam, who hasn't practiced in weeks due to the knee injury, is a full participant, has no injury designation, is good to go for Sunday. That adds so much depth to this defensive line. You now have defensive edge rushers in Kwity Paye, Leatu Latu, Samson Ebukam, and Tyquan Lewis. Great to have those 4 guys back who all work very, very well together and in tandem. And I think that that's going to be crucial, is applying consistent pressure to Patrick Mahomes. And I think that's going to be really, really good. I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see this Colts team together. Now, the biggest piece of them all, you were following along to the injury practices throughout this week. You saw that yesterday, Thursday, Daniel Jones was limited in practice due to a calf injury. I think there were a lot of people, myself included, who were very fearful because Daniel Jones has been consistent this season, but there have been times in his career with the Giants and with Duke of which he has been less than consistent, less than not reliable, but he hasn't been injury wise. He has struggled at times with injury. Now, specifically in the lower body has been where Daniel Jones, now a lot of that has to do with having a poor offensive line, having to constantly be on the move. If you remember, he signed the big deal in 2023, then immediately had that ACL injury like 3 games in, and really was labeled as a bust. Now we know that Daniel Jones is not a bust and is actually doing very, very well if you put him in a good system. But good news is today he has no injury designation. He was a full participant in practice today. Ian Rappaport reported that the Colts were being extraordinarily overabundantly cautious with this injury to Daniel Jones, and that's great. That's good news, and that means that for this weekend, of your starting core people, specifically on defense and offense, the only person of note who is not going to be playing this weekend is DeForest Buckner. That is incredible because this is potentially a matchup of what could be a preview of the AFC Championship, or the Chiefs are just that bad and they're not going to be good, and this is going to be a great win for the Colts, but we can expect to see the Chiefs be the Chiefs, especially as they are treating this game as an elimination game. If the Chiefs don't win this game, their shot of winning the division drops to a mere 4%. Their shot of making the playoffs drops below 50%, as they would be 5-6 with a losing record to the Jags and the Texans. Or no, they face the Texans this week, or next week, but that would leave them with a losing record to a majority of people who are in the playoffs. To the Chargers, to the Broncos, to the Jaguars, and hopefully to the Colts and the Bills, if the Bills were able to make the playoffs. And who knows if I don't remember if they faced, but I don't expect them to be able to win against the Patriots. Honestly, if being upfront, I don't see them winning that game. So to have a fully healthy team for the Indianapolis Colts going into this game, specifically after two not great showings from this Colts offense and the Colts defense against the Steelers and against the Falcons. I think it's good. It's encouraging to see this team back and this team healthy. And really, again, this game coming off of a bye week, I think this is everything you could hope for. This is everything you would want. You get that bye, you get time for extra preparation against what could be the toughest opponent we've faced this year. Now, obviously, we faced the Rams. We faced the Steelers, who are the two teams that we've lost to. Honestly, I think the Broncos were even more of a tough opponent than either of those two teams. Both should beat themselves in both of those games. But I think this is a great news, and this is great. Looking forward to this game, to having Mooney and Sauce Gardner and Kenny Moore all back, Cam Bynum, Nick Cross, having that defensive backfield room, I think is going to truly provide. I think it's nightmare material for any quarterback in this league. I think having those those five guys together, I think is going to be very difficult. Pair that with Zaire Franklin and Jermaine Pratt, hopefully being able to step up their game in the linebacker room. I think it's going to be very tough. And that's going to be, I think, where the Colts are going to have the most trouble, is they're going to have to go up against Travis Kelce in the underneath. That's going to be where Zaire Franklin and Jermaine Pratt are going to have to thrive. They're going to have to do very well in that specific realm, because we all know Travis Kelce, even though he is aging, even though he is slower than he has been historically, you can't ignore him. You can't forget him. He's going to be there. But having a healthy offense and defense like we are currently looking to have, especially after all the defensive injuries, great news. And I think it's going to pair great with what the Colts are going to be able to do against the Chiefs.